Hello everyone, Hummus28 here, and today we're back in the back rooms once again. Now, it's been a couple days since I last recorded, but I have not been idle. You might notice there's a couple of changes happening to the base, because I did say we need more space to build out our infrastructure, and this area isn't going to cut it. So you can see a couple stuff missing, a couple machines are gone, and you might be wondering, well, where did they go? Well, to answer that question, first we're going to need to take this sponge for now, and we could just wet this carpet over here. That's fine. Why did that complete a task? Not sure. But anyways, you can see here's our train system. Crushers are gone. Train station. You might be wondering, that's odd. If the train station is here, but the crusher wheels are gone, then where's all the ore going? So let me show you. So if you remember from a previous episode, I went down the wrong way, and that's because I was hiding in a little secret. I've been building out the factory in a much larger space that I found, and I connected it to the railway system. Got the trains up and running. As you can see the trains coming and going. It's pretty cool. They go right in. Even got them all linked and coordinated. Oh, here comes another one. This is the only problem with putting the trains in here, is sometimes you walk in the way, like right there, and then you get hit by a train when you're trying to travel. But anyway, once we step through this portal, we come to the new factory. As you can see, I found this massive open space area here, which provides far more than enough room than we'll ever need. And I'm only right now on one side. So let me give you a little bit of a tour. So as you can see, it all starts here at our little train depot area. The trains connect to this portable storage interface, and they come down here and drop all the resources into this item vault. Items come out of these funnels into our crushers. They get crushed into their ores. Right now the nuggets just get burned. I'm probably going to set up some automated crafters just so we can turn those into the ingots. But each block when crushed has a 40% chance to make the nugget and a 40% chance to make the crushed ore. So losing just the little nuggets I don't really care for right now when we're cooking so much. It comes out over here and gets bulk blasted and goes to this hodgepodge of machinery, which is extremely complicated. But as you can see, it goes into this big item vault here where it all gets processed. So by default, I have a bunch of iron sheets available on demand, zinc sheets, copper sheets. The copper gets further broken down into copper wire. And if you come on the other side here, through this way, come back over here, you can see copper and zinc gets cooked over here into brass automatically. And on this side, you can see we have light engineering blocks being made automatically. Let's see, there's energy. Oh, there it is. So, iron ingots also come up over here. They're auto-crafted into engineering frames. They get pushed down this conveyor belt here, down here, and all the resources needed to make a light engineering frame is all produced right here, put into these deployers, and it makes engineering frames. Now, it is missing 2 inputs. I believe this one is, let's see. This one, it needs, let's see, glass, copper, wire. There's something supposed to be going in here. Oh, I see the problem. Grab this. As you could see, oh, I need to break that. When these mechanical arms create the pipes, since this is full, sometimes the pipes land on here when they're not supposed to. Because this is supposed to be, yeah, this is supposed to be copper ingots. There we go, take those out. So now the copper ingots go in there, and it produces a fluorescent lamp. They go into this chest here. Then the only other thing is you need to put glass in here. I don't have a way to produce glass, and this one needs the nether quartz. because we can only get that from the nether, I don't have a renewable way to get that yet. If you look over here, this chest is full of treated wood slabs because that is how we produce, let's see, they should be in this one here if we had extra, but this is how you produce the electronic components. So they should all be around there if we had more, but we're going to need some more nether quartz to make those. We have a whole production line over here. We have our automatic bamboo farm, where bamboo is collected, turned into blocks. The blocks go in here. They get cut, stored into blocks of stripped bamboo, and then are further processed into treated wood planks, which you could collect over here if you need them. And it automatically shuts off once there's a stack in here so we don't waste the creosote oil. And if you come up, here's our current industrial engineering machines. We have our coke oven, we have a fluid tank that's supposed to be full of creosote oil, but we've been using it. We have our refinery that takes ethanol from our sugarcane factory here and combines it with creosote oil to create phenolic resin, and that resin is used here to make our Duraplast sheets, which, as you saw, is part of our quest line. So if we come to chapter 4, it's over here, Duraplast sheets, and that's an extra step to get the advanced electronic components. And look, it's even a little see-through. So that's the pretty much this part of it. There is 2 more machines over here. I'm trying to, actually 3 more machines, 4 if you count the generator. So this is a giant boiler that is only on boiler status 8. That's not right. It should be boiler status 9. So let's see if we can diagnose the issue. Seems to be sometimes these guys aren't fed. Yeah, this guy is missing lava. Huh. Let's see. Pipes are full of lava. I think it has to do with the setup. As you can see, lava is flowing through, but that guy's not getting any. It's odd. Let's break him and replace him. There we go. Which is odd. See, some of them are full. I wonder why this one is not, like, the lava is just ignoring the pipe, which is weird. Might have to do some more throughput. So, yep. Boiler size level 9, which is the highest we can go. If you're wondering what this big thing is, if you come over here, it's full of lava. If you didn't know, in Create, if you have a hose pulley like this that goes into a pool of lava of more than 10,000 blocks, and it has to be more than 10,000. If you try exactly 10,000, it won't work. It has to be more than 10,000, so 10,001. And you try to pull from it, it will designate it as an infinite source, and you will never run out of that source of liquid, which is very good. But there is a problem in the backrooms, and that problem is, as you can see, the lava has holes in it. And you might be wondering, well, why are there holes in the lava? That seems pretty odd. And you might notice there's a very specific pattern to the holes, and if you look up, you can see it's from the lighting. Because there's a single light source at the roof that lights the entire length of the entire vertical length of the backrooms, it's kind of using an invisible block to tell the lighting system how to function, and that gets in the way of liquid sources. So if you were to place a liquid into one of those squares, it will not move. It'll stay stuck in that single block. You can force it to update by placing a block next to it to get it to update, but since you need to fill an entire cavity with 10,000 blocks of liquid, it would not be feasible to fill this entire space. So I just left it like that. It does also function as extra storage for lava in case this tank ever runs out, because this hose pulley will pull from there. If I turned it the other way. If you send it all the way down to the bottom, it will start pulling. And then if we come out over here, that chest is always on fire, don't worry about it. This is where we get our infinite lava. We have a whole row, if you come up over here, of mechanical drills that make cobblestone. And as you could see, to reduce lag, they all turned into cobblestone generators that feed this chest over here. And let's head downstairs. And the way it works is you have a bucket, like you see this one here, comes around, cobblestone goes in, cobblestone goes in, and then once it's a full bucket of cobblestone, it comes over to get bulk blasted, gets put into this chest, and then it gets pushed onto this item drain and sent back again in a circle, keeping this tank full of lava. And it does it about 1 lava bucket is every 2 seconds, I believe, with this setup. Now if you come over here, we have our automatic redstone farm, which should be working pretty soon. Let's see. Here's still the problem. The keg with only 2 units in here still doesn't work for some reason. And because of that, I do have to come over here and manually fix it every once in a while. But now that these 2 kegs are full, that's going to start, having exponential gains. Because each one of these is now going to produce 5, and then that's going to feed the next keg, which will then feed the next keg and next keg. And once all 5 are full, we'll be producing 25 redstone spores every 2 minutes. Which, if you convert into redstone, is about 25, 50, 75 redstone every 2 minutes. Which is not bad. Could be a lot faster, but I don't know. I don't think we'll need more than that. Then if we come downstairs, you can see our bamboo farm as I showed that. And was there something else? No, there's the sugarcane farm down there that you saw that feeds that, but that's about it. So you can see this is the factory, and it's all working out pretty well. Now, to continue moving on, I was able to make our empowerers. Let's see, where did I leave those guys? Right here, display stand and empowerers, because we will need to create some empowered void crystals. As you can see, it takes 20,000 CF, and you need tar and a void crystal to do. So we're going to have to hook this up to some power. Now, luckily, because of how I set up the factory, it's very easy to route more power as needed. I do want to kind of leave production on this side. And I still need to bring over a couple key machines, one being the steel production, because we are running very low on steel. Yeah, we only have 26 on me, but we do have, I think, like 5 stacks of hot steel available at the old base that I just need to bring over. But we're going to have to set up something to use these empowerers. So we're going to need another alternator. As you can see, I have one right here that's spinning very fast, generating 180 FE per tick. And this is fast enough to power both of these machines and the blast chiller all by itself. Now, a little side effect is that all of this does hinge on having creosote oil, which is pretty annoying, because the only way we can get it right now is through the coke oven. But as you can see, if we do creosote oil, there is another way to do it in the pyrolyzer when we process bitumen. Bitumen gets broken down into tar and coal and creosote oil. So we already have the pyrolyzer back at the old base, so once we have a source of crude oil, we can have this hooked up to get that as well. And as you can see, bitumen comes from the fractioning still. You take 1 millibucket of crude oil to make 1 bitumen, 40 millibuckets of heavy oil, and 60 millibuckets of light oil. And now this is going to be very useful because light oil can be fractioned even further into refined fuel, and you can use refined fuel in our blaze burners to make them superheated. So you can see it lasts 20 minutes, they're superheated, and once all 9 are superheated, that's going to take our boiler to maximum power. Because if you noticed before, if you come out over here, the boiler status is level 8. Well, it should be level 9. I guess one of them is still not cooking. But once all 9 are fed and they're superheated, that's going to double the heat capacity and get us to a level 18 furnace, which will generate double the amount of stress capacity. Because even with all those machines running right now, you can come to the top here and you can see we're only using about 26% of our stress capacity, which leaves a lot of room for more machinery. That was kind of the problem with our current base, is that we just didn't have a lot of room to make a bigger boiler. which means we just couldn't produce a lot of power. So let's see, so we're gonna need an alternator, which, let's see, alternator is not that expensive, it's pretty cheap. Iron sheets, copper coil block, and a light engineering block. Let's see, do I have one of those? I do not, so let's grab one. And that's what's very nice about having a fully automatic setup, is that this runs fully autonomously. It just needs the inputs that we get from our train system. And because it's fully autonomous, I can just come over here and grab engineering blocks as needed. The further processing into the machine frames I probably don't need to do, because it's just I could just set up one where I just bring them in and put them in. I don't need that fully automatic. And I'm getting a phone call, 1 second. Okay, I'm back. And while I was on the phone, it made me remember that I actually did forget to show you guys one more machine that was working back here. You might have noticed it in this corner over here, because there was actually a change made that was a little undocumented. I'm not sure if they just forgot, but when you harvest wallpaper, wallpaper now grows back over time. So we also harvest wallpaper over here. And this is also why you need so much redstone, because if you combine wallpaper with redstone acid, you can produce lead and pulp. And pulp is used for making cardboard, and lead dust is used for making lead ingots. So that's everything. So let's see, what was I doing before I got distracted? I was making an alternator. So we're going to need copper coil, which I believe we do have already. Yep, right here. Actually, this is low voltage. Is that the same thing? Yeah, low voltage wire coil. And I have tons of crafting tables placed everywhere to make it easy to craft stuff. We're going to need the coil block, going to need iron ingots. Like so, and then like that. Let's put the stuff we don't need away, like all of this. Put that in here. And you back in there. Where's my lunch basket? There it is. Wait, what? I'm out of food? I ate everything? That's crazy. I might have to set up a farm to make food. But anyways, now that we have that, let's set up one right over here, next to this case over here. That way it's accessible. And if you're wondering if I have fallen down, I have, many times. Luckily, it's funny, the distance from here to ground level actually is not enough to kill you if you're at full hearts. Just take a lot of damage. Let's see, I like doing this little setup here. Kind of like cordoning off everything, and then once I build more, let's say we're going to need cobblestone, you can just connect it over like that, and we have this machine to get all the cobblestone we'll ever need. One little annoying thing is that I still do need the old base to function, but I'm going to strip it down for parts till it can run just off of the unheated, the unheated blaze burners. Because we really only need it to produce the crimsite now. Everything else we can do over here. So I did 3, 1, 2, 3. Now these do require power on the bottom, and it has to be in a like this. Now it's easier to put power on the bottom. I might be able to put power through the side. Let's see. Can I do like this? That might work. But if I do it like that, that runs the risk of me electrocuting myself every single time I try to walk by it, which is a little annoying. So let's go from the bottom, because it also spins very fast down there, and that should work better. So let's come out over here. Let's see. I did only make this work really on one side. Probably should have made it omnidirectional. Like so. Let's see, how can I get on this side? Because you can see I have this shaft down here. It rotates very fast, which will get us a lot of rotational power. And we just need to connect it over there. So actually, we could just go from this side. So you can see I built this base very modular, so you can access everything pretty easily. And makes power expansion pretty easy. Yeah, see, now 2 of them aren't getting fed the lava. It's very weird. It was working just fine a moment ago. So let's see, we're just gonna expand this way. I'm gonna have to troubleshoot that. It must have to be with the pipes. Like, even though they're connected, the lava doesn't actually want to flow that way. And I'm gonna have to force it to flow that way. By like breaking it apart and segmenting it. So let's see, we're building... Oh, we're already here, cool. So let's expand this out to about the middle here. Now let's break the floor, see if we can find... Here's the middle, so it should be right here. Ah, off by 1. Open up the floor for these ones. Like that. Now we're going to connect the power from underneath. So we're going to need our low voltage wire connectors here. And we're going to have to... I'm going to have to put some slabs here, because I want these to connect better. Like so. Then we're going to need our relay, our cabling, and our alternator. So we can... actually, I'm going to have to break this off and then have the power go this way. And we can do that with a gearbox. Put that here. We're going to need one of these. Where is my ash alloy? We're going to need 4 gears. Only 1 shaft. Going to need some more. One, 2, 3, 4. Put that here, like that. Because we need power to come this way. Because we're going to connect it like this. Oh. Actually, no, not like that. No, don't put it on the top. There we go. What we need to do is right here in the middle, put this here. And now we can connect all of these. Huh? There we go. You can connect all of these like so. Then you put one here, and you connect that. So now this alternator is going to power these. And luckily this already spins very fast, so we shouldn't have to change the gear ratio. So we could just plug this in here, grab our cobblestone, extend this out. And now we just need to plug it in. And to do that, we're going to need, let's see, this. We're going to need 1 more cog, like so. And then we could just put that here, and we'll move this over 1. Yep, right here. That goes there, that goes there and there. Now this is a major electrical hazard, so you have to be very careful. Now it's generating 180 FE per tick, which I'm not sure if that's going to be enough, but from what I remember with the Empowerer, it has a pretty large electrical tank to start off with, and then until you actually use it on something, it's really not a problem. So you can see they're starting to fill up. Oh, the Empower doesn't actually need anything, just the display stands. That's fine. So let's make some. Right here, we need some slabs to block that off so we don't actually accidentally touch the cables. There you go. Looks pretty clean. And now with this, we can make our empowered void crystals. Of course, that's going to take tar, which we don't have because that comes from crude oil, but now we have the foundation for it, which is just as good. Let's see, let's use these right here. And we can come over here to use that. Now, I don't think we're going to actually need to empower too many stuff at a time. Like, empower Norid crystal. Why does that take a snowball? I feel like all the recipes that require something like really odd, like a snowball or prismarine shards, are ones we don't actually need to do. Like you can see this one, oh, blocks of tar. Well, okay, because we need tar. So I'm guessing we don't really need the other ones. This one doesn't actually seem that difficult, red dye. But what we actually need is the empowered void crystal, which comes from tar. So we're gonna have to set up a crude oil mining operation, and that's gonna come in the next episode. We do also need another induction smelter because, as you saw, I'm using the one we made to produce the light bulbs. And we need one specifically just to make vacuum tubes. That way we can make these advanced electronic components, because we'll need these for the new machines. Now luckily, overall, this is not that bad. The only difficult part is the electrum wire, because as you can see, electrum wire comes from, where is it? Molten electrum. It's an alloy of gold and silver, and we don't actually have a lot of gold or silver because silver comes from some appliances, and gold seems to really only come from the electrical panels. So after we get these done, we need to build the centrifugal separator first, because then we can make renewable gold. And the way they're showing that is if you use a crucible here. Crucible recipes, there's actually one in here to turn lead into gold. Let's see here if we can find it. Arcane gold, no. Golden apples, here we go, lead into gold. You take one lead ingot and confusing powder to make a gold ingot, and this is in the cauldron, so this is something you can automate. Because for this to work, we just need a deployer to put water into the cauldron, and then we need another deployer to put in the lead, the confusing powder, and it doesn't have to be mixed, it just produces it, which is very simple. But until we get there, we don't have renewable gold. And the separator is going to take a machine frame and 2 of these advanced electronic circuits, so we should have just enough resources available to make the wires that we need. In fact, I think we have some electrum on us right now. Nickel. Nope. I know I had like 10 a while ago. Oh, here we go, 6. So that can make 12 wires, which should just be enough for what we need. But anyways, the next thing we're going to be working on is figuring out how to get crude oil from the carpets. And let's see, after we solve that, what do? The redstone's almost done, so I need to bring the machine over to make redstone acid, because once I have the acid, I can put it right here, bring our wallpaper through this way with a conveyor belt, redstone that way, and then start producing lead, which will be very good for us. But in the meantime, I'm your host, Homage28, and I'll see you guys next time.